Previously on Comics Online, sugar.
This one's for you, Morph. Ah!
Lenore, you tore at our heartstrings with these last few episodes of X-Men 97. I'm so glad we finally get to talk about it. So,
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
7 episodes in. Let's start at the beginning. Of course, you know, we got to return to the world of X-Men. Can you talk about getting back into this character, returning to it after so many decades away?
Well, to be honest, you know, it was pretty simple slipping into Rogue. I like to say it's like pulling on a pair of very fine, well-worn gloves that just fit. As soon as I slip into her character, she's just right there. And I realize I've been carrying her with me for the last 30 years. So it's really nice to be able to let her out again.
You've had quite a dramatic season from a love triangle perspective. Obviously, Rogue and Gambit is iconic, but we're getting to see a new dynamic in the animated series of Rogue and Magneto, which honestly I don't think anyone was expecting. Can you talk about getting to play with this dynamic with your performance?
Sure. Well, I had not known about the Rogue-Magneto connection myself, but when I got into it, I found out that many comic collectors and people, fans of the X-Men, were aware that there are timelines and other universes where she and Magneto were an item and in fact had a child together. So, you know, this was news to me. But so all I did was play the dynamics that I was given in the scenes. And to be honest, as an actor, it's fun to have those kinds of things where you can play with it. And the actors and I had a lot of fun in real life, too, with AJ Locasio and Matthew, who plays Magneto, kind of ribbing each other online and playing it up, which the fans really enjoyed as well. So we had a lot of fun.
When we spoke last year at C2E2, you told me that you guys were doing in-person cast recordings. Did that maintain for the entire duration of the season? And
yes. Like I go into the studio to do mine, but usually by myself. There has only been one time where AJ and I have gone in the studio at the same time and recorded together. But the rest of the time, we all just do our lines separately. Which, to be honest, I know the show so well, and I know the characters so well, that it's pretty easy to do. I just picture it all in my head. I can hear the music. I can see it all when I read the scripts. And, you know, you just have to have a really good imagination when you're doing voice acting.
Well, speaking of imagination, that 5th episode, weeks away, we still, I think we're feeling the events. It's resonating heavily with the fan base.
Yes.
Can you talk about the emotional aspect of the massacre at Genosha? And I know that it hit home for you personally, but I would love to hear what was going through your mind as you were recording that very powerful episode.
Thank you. Thanks for that question. Yeah, I've talked about it a little bit about how I was already grieving personally in real life because my young niece, Maya, had passed away maybe 8 months before that to cancer, which she got, when she was 16, and then she was gone by the age of 17. So I was pretty devastated, brokenhearted, and I was able to channel all of that into my performance. And I decided that I should use that authentic emotion in my voice so that others could hear it and it would resonate with them. And maybe if they were feeling any kind of grief themselves from losing people, they could relate. And in fact, that's what's happened.
I don't think anyone expected that episode to hit as hard as it did, other than Bo and your team. But just more, we had a lot of really great moments in the original series, but this one really felt like it flipped the script as far as expectations of what was possible with X-Men 97 and the series.
Yes, I know. I mean, we've had some other emotional ones, but not quite like this. And not where you lose one of the lead characters that people have grown up with and who they love as a beloved character. So it was very intense. And, when we went into then episode 7, where Rogue is on the rage, she's gone rogue. I think that's just another example of it's another stage of grief that many people go through, and it was a pleasure to be able to let loose and really go to those places that I know I can go to as an actor, and I have on stage before, but this is the first chance I've had to do it in any kind of like screen or recording venue.
Well, and speaking of that episode in particular, you got to play with one of our friends, Josh Keaton,
yes,
as Captain America. Spoilers, I mean, we're already a week out now at this point, so when this is going to be airing, but
yeah,
Josh getting to play Captain America, and Rogue had a very interesting interaction with Cap. And can you talk about the reaction of tossing the shield a great distance, but just more of like getting to play with that moment, because it seemed like you guys got to have a lot of fun with a very interesting Captain America Rogue dynamic.
It was so much fun. I mean, when she tosses it like a frisbee and it disappears way over another mountain, it was so much fun. It was a blast, and to see the fans' reaction online has been just amazing. And also, when she comes in there to the army compound and she's throwing tanks around, and when they say, the Hulk couldn't get out of here. It was built to keep the Hulk in. Well, they're not used to Rogue and her energy. So it was a pleasure. It was so much fun to play.
There have been just a plethora of amazing sequences, but I just loved have any others hit home for you?
Well, to be honest, just, the last line in the episode 5 where I say, "Sugar, I can't feel you." That is a very emotional moment, and it was for me in real life with my niece when she passed. And so I hope that I've been able to touch people with my voice and have them feel the feelings and maybe even trigger some emotions that they didn't even know they had, so that they can also have a healing. For instance, I was in Philadelphia at a Comic-Con, the Mutant and Proud Comic-Con, yesterday, and a gentleman came up to me and said, "Lenore, my father passed away 3 years ago, and I wasn't able to grieve him, and I couldn't cry. And then suddenly when I watched that episode, it triggered something in me, and I started bawling." And he said, "For a few hours." And I realized I had been holding on to that for so long. So thank you for unleashing it within me. And I said, "And how do you feel now?" He said, "Well, I feel like I've been through like therapy. I feel like it was therapeutic. I feel so much freer and lighter now." So if I can do that with my voice, I'm really just fulfilled.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank
We have
you.
3 more episodes, another season in the can. Hopefully this is just the tip of the iceberg for X-Men 97.
I hope so. Your lips to God's ears, sugar.
I know what you're thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Well, bub, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?